Well, you guys all seem to really enjoy the video I did on building a Sob Rock inspired pedal board for $500. So today I'm going to be doing the exact same thing, but with a budget of $1,000. If you guys haven't seen the original video, I'll card it up above for you guys to go check out, and then you can finish watching this video. So again, let's just start quickly with the rules for today's video. Number one, the budget this time is 1,000 US dollars or 1,300 Canadian. I'm Canadian, so that's just what I'm going to be using, my own local currency, and then I'll do all the conversions for you guys. Rule number two is that I have to shoot for 5 pedals on the pedal board, and there has to be a minimum of 5 pedals on this board. I'm not going to worry about sacrificing the pedals that I do choose in order to squeeze more on the pedal board, but if I can fit more than 5 on the board, well then I will. Rule number 3. I have to go on Reverb and find these pedals right now for the price that fits within the budget. It's not going to be no nonsense like, oh, one time on Reverb I saw one go for this amount. Nope, all of these pedals have to be found for the price I need right now, or else I can't put them in this board build. And lastly, rule number 4. Anything like the patch cables, the power supply, the physical pedal board, and even the shipping cost of these pedals is not taken into consideration for this budget. The budget is purely for the pedals themselves. With the rules out of the way, I want to quickly give you guys my strategy and my thought process while making this board build, something I didn't really do with the first one for $500. But like that first video, I'm focusing on obviously the Sob Rock era, meaning the songs on the album and the tour. So for example, something like the Electro-Harmonix Q-Tron, that's not really something I'm looking for this build. I'm mainly focusing on songs from the Sob Rock record and the tones John was getting during the Sob Rock tour for those specific songs. So if I can fit stuff that fits songs from like the Continuum era, for example, onto this board build, I will, but my main primary focus is the Sob Rock era and record. Now, another part of my strategy here is because the board is going to be about 5 pedals, I need to not only be concerned about getting great pedals, but the right pedals. So for example, something like the 29 pedals Una or Wamp are just 2 pedals that, while they're fantastic, for a board of this size and at this budget level, they're just stuff you shouldn't be concerned with at this point. So I'm going to be very specific and selective with what I choose. And lastly, in terms of the strategy, I'm assuming the amp you would be using would have built-in reverb, so I'm not going to be concerned with going out and really getting a reverb pedal in order just to cover a plain old amp reverb. With that out of the way, to try and get ahead of some questions I assumed you guys would have had as to why certain things weren't chosen, let's get into actually grabbing and finding the pedals to fit on our pedal board. Now we're going to start off with the drive section, as it's the section that's really used the most frequently, and therefore it's going to be the most important to start off with, and getting a great drive section first, then having the remainder of our budget to build the rest of the board. So with the drive section, the tones for the Sob Rock tour were primarily Ibanez TS10 into Klon Centaur. I've mentioned this a few times on the channel, but I gotta restate it again here. So we're first gonna tackle the Tube Screamer. Now, a fantastic Tube Screamer option here, especially for this price point, is going to be the JHS Bonsai. With the TS10 mode, it's honestly all the Tube Screamer you would ever need, even for a board build with a higher budget. I would just recommend the JHS Bonsai. Until you're getting into something like an actual TS10, for example, I can't really see you needing or wanting anything more than a Bonsai. So at $237 here that I found for the Bonsai, that is what we're going to go with to start off the build. Next, we are going to cover our Klon clone, and the one I'm going to suggest for this board build is the J-Rocket Archer Icon. If we had a higher budget, I would probably suggest the Jeff modded Archer. That's one John Mayer has actually been using recently. But the Archer Icon is definitely a fantastic choice, especially at this price point. I'd suggest this clone over a lot of other ones that cost quite a bit more than this pedal. I think the Archer Icon is a fantastic clone, and I'm suggesting the Icon over the Silver Standard Archer because the Icon is warmer and has a smoother gain structure, and trust me on this, guys, this is the one you are going to want. The cheapest Archer Icon I was able to find is for 176 Canadian. That's a fantastic price, so we're going to add this to the board. With the drive section sorted out, I wanted to go ahead and tackle chorus next. Now, the pedal I am suggesting is the Keeley Electronics Dyno My Roto. This pedal is a tri-chorus, and it's what we believe John was using for Shot in the Dark. It's a bit difficult to tell because he blacked out the pedal, but the layout and where the LED is and the switch in the middle all indicates that it should be a Keeley pedal, and we know it was a tri-course that he was using, so this is honestly, I'd put money on the line that this is what he was using, if I'm being honest. And it's a great sounding chorus. Now, obviously, John also used a CE2 for a lot of different chorus sounds, but for this board especially, one great sounding chorus is all you are going to need. At a price of $155 Canadian, we are going to add the Dynamo Roto to the board. Alright, so with the JHS Bonsai, the Archer Icon, and the Keeley Dynamo Roto, we are at $568 out of our budget of $1,300 Canadian. We're not even halfway there at 3 fantastic pedals. So next I wanted to cover delays, and we are actually going to add 2 delay pedals to the board. Now, first off, I wanted to tackle the longer delay sounds. Now, the New Neighbor Echelon, I believe that's how you pronounce it, I think this is a fantastic option. It's about, on average, $100 cheaper than a Providence Chrono delay, but it still has a built-in tap tempo function to it. So you're not totally sacrificing the feature set for a cheaper option, and New Neighbor just makes fantastic stuff. Everything they make is honestly fantastic. So this pedal would be great for the long-sounding delays. The lowest I was able to find in New Neighbor Echelon was for $229 Canadian, again making it about $100 less than the Providence Chrono delay, and this is just a fantastic option, so this is going to take care of that longer delay sound. Now, as I already mentioned, we're going to be adding a second delay for this pedal board build. In the video I did with a budget of $500, I only added 1 delay because at that budget, we just didn't have enough to squeeze in a Mark III Octopus, but this time we do. So we're going to add in a Mark III Octopus, and the slapback sound for John Mayer's tone and sound is important no matter what era you're trying to go for or trying to build an inspired pedal board by. But for Sob Rock, the best example is during Wild Blue. John uses an Octopus on for the entire song. So we're going to add a Mark III Octopus, and the cheapest one I was able to find was for $149 Canadian. With both of these delays added to our pedal board, we now have 5 fantastic pedals on this board. But we still have $273 left over, so we're not done. With the budget we have left, I had a couple different options to consider. I could grab 2 more pedals that are each going to fit within the budget remaining, or I could grab 1 more pedal that costs a little bit more but is going to sound great and cover a lot of ground. And the latter is definitely what I went with because I think the Strymon Flint is what we should grab at this point here. Not only is the trem side going to be used for quite a few different songs like Gravity and All I Want Is To Be With You, but the reverb side can actually take over and give you some larger reverb sounds over just the standard amp reverb and kind of get you in the ballpark of some of the different reverb sounds John would dial in with the New Neighbor Illumin. So a 2-in-1 pedal here and just an iconic John Mayer pedal with the Strymon Flint, this is what we're going to go with. The lowest price Strymon Flint I could find on Reverb was $325 Canadian, which puts us 29 Canadian dollars or 22 US dollars under budget. And this pedal board is done. Now let's quickly go over the whole pedal board for you guys and the signal chain that I recommend. We start off with the JHS Bonsai, followed by the Archer Icon, then the Keeley Electronics Dynamo Roto. At this point, I'd recommend putting the Strymon Flint, but if you're going to be using the reverb side quite a bit, you can put this at the very end of the chain. I just predominantly use the trem side of the Flint, so that's why I'm putting it here. Then we'd have the Mark III Octopus, followed by the New Neighbor Echelon. And that would round off our Sob Rock inspired pedal board for $1,000, and our grand total coming in at $978 US, with $22 to spare to put towards patch cables, shipping costs, whatever else you wanted to at this point. We're under budget again, which I'm really happy about, and honestly, all 6 of these pedals are fantastic. We didn't sacrifice in build quality or sound at all, and this is a wicked pedal board. I would be very happy with this pedal board. All the choices on here, again, I'm not going to recommend just junk to you guys or stuff I wouldn't stand behind. All these pedals are going to be fantastic, and I think this pedal board for $1,000 is just truly a fantastic Sob Rock inspired pedal board. Now, you guys, the challenge to you is to, if you agree with me, fantastic. Let me know that you agree with me in the comments below, or if you change something out, let me know. But of course, you got to stick with the same rules I had, where it has to fit within the budget of $1,000. So let me know what you would have chosen if you wanted to choose anything differently down in the comments below. And again, as always, you guys, please let me know if you want to see a different era done. I know the Continuum one was one a lot of people were commenting on. So if you guys want to see Continuum era next for a challenge of 500 or 1,000, please leave a comment down below, because again, you guys, the comments are how I know what videos you guys want to see, and it greatly helps me decide what videos I'm going to make next for you guys. So if you don't, leave a like on the video, number one. Number two, leave a comment. I'm not going to know, and I might not go over the one you want to see. So please let me know down below. And it also just helps me out with the YouTube algorithm, let's be honest. All hail the algorithm, as every YouTuber pretty much says. So you guys, again, thank you so much for watching. As always, we'll see you on the next one.
Anyway, go ahead and click the subscribe button if you like what you see.